Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. It is the summer of 2026. You've finally managed to carve out 2 weeks for that dream European getaway you've been banking on for years. You're looking at a map of Croatia. Naturally, your eyes drift south. You see Dubrovnik, you see Split, you see those terracotta roofs and that impossible blue water.
The classic shot, the one you see all over Instagram.
Exactly. But then reality hits you. You check the hotel prices. You check the hostel prices. You check the price of a single espresso.
And that is the moment the dream usually starts to, well, crumble, isn't it? Or at least it requires a significant recalibration of your bank account.
A cold splash of water. Because we are now 3 years into Croatia's adoption of the euro. The honeymoon phase of cheap, undiscovered Adriatic travel isn't just over. It's ancient history. It's a distant memory.
Oh, it really is. By 2026, the market has fully stabilized, and the baseline costs in those southern hubs, Dubrovnik, Split, Hvar, are effectively mirroring places like Miami or the French Riviera.
Seriously, Miami prices.
We are seeing €5 coffees becoming the standard, not the exception. We are seeing hostel beds, literally a bunk in a room with 11 other strangers, going for €60 a night.
60 euro. Wait, 60 euros for a bunk bed? That is just offensive.
For a bunk bed, yeah, to listen to someone snore. It's the new reality of mass tourism in a Eurozone hotspot. But, and this is why we're here today, there is a glitch in the matrix.
Oh.
If you let your eyes drift way, way up the coast, past the waterfalls, past the famous islands, you hit the northern crook of the Adriatic, there's a smudge on the map, a city called Rijeka.
Rijeka. Now, to be totally honest with you, when I hear Rijeka, I don't picture Game of Thrones. I don't picture influencers in linen pants posing on a marble wall. I picture cranes. I picture concrete.
And you aren't wrong. I mean, for decades, most people have treated Rijeka as a drive-by. It's the place you go to catch a ferry to get to the real vacation or where you switch buses.
Just a transit point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Travelers see the oil refinery, they see the container ships, and they just keep moving. It's been the ugly duckling.
But here is the contrarian take we are digging into today. If you are trying to do Croatia on a budget in 2026, and I mean a real budget, not a sponsored content budget, Rijeka isn't just an option. It not be the only option left.
It is the last bastion. It's a fascinating economic anomaly, but it raises a massive, unavoidable question for anyone listening. Is it actually worth it? Sure, it's cheap.
Right, but is it good?
Is it ugly? Is it safe? Is it depressing? Does it have any of that Mediterranean magic, or are we just telling people to vacation in a Rust Belt industrial zone because they're broke?
That is exactly the mission of this deep dive. We are going to answer the question, is Rijeka worth it? And we aren't just going to look at the pretty pictures because, frankly, there aren't as many of them.
Yeah.
We are going to analyze the logistics, the brutal math of the 2026 economy, and this really weird, ugly, beautiful aesthetic that seems to define the city.
And we should probably rip the bandage off immediately. This isn't your typical travel brochure discussion. We identified 3 massive contrarian surprises in the research that define this city. They're sort of deal breakers if you don't know them in advance.
Let's hit them. Because if people go in expecting Dubrovnik, they are going to be miserable. Surprise number 1.
It is not a beach town. I cannot stress this enough.
Okay, say that again.
It is not a beach town. If you book a hotel in the center of Rijeka expecting to walk out the lobby doors, cross the street, and dip your toes in the sea, you are going to be staring at a concrete pier, a customs office, and probably a Liberian flagged oil tanker.
Wow. That is a very different vibe.
Yeah.
Very different. Surprise number 2.
The food scene. Everyone assumes the best food is in the capital, Zagreb, or the tourist hubs. But currently, in 2026, Rijeka's food scene is beating Split for diversity and authenticity. It's this incredible, messy intersection of Italy and the Balkans.
So it's not just tourist fare.
Not at all. It's not just grilled fish for tourists. It's heavy, hearty, complex food. It's for people who work.
And surprise number 3, which is the one that really worries me, the weather.
Oh, yeah. It is the wettest city in the country. Statistically, it rains more in Rijeka than it does in London.
More than London. That is a damper, literally.
It is. If you didn't pack a waterproof shell, you are going to lose a lot of your budget. Buying cheap, disposable umbrellas that break in 5 minutes, we've all been there.
Okay, so we have no beach in the center, it rains like London, and it's full of cranes. You are doing a terrible job of selling this so far. Why are we calling this the Budget King?
Because of the vibe. And the price. But let's start with the vibe, because I think that's where the ugly, beautiful thing comes into play. You have to understand the context.
Right.
We mentioned the Euro shock in the South. Dubrovnik is a museum piece. It's manicured, it's perfect, and it's sterile.
It feels like a theme park, doesn't it? A very, very expensive theme park.
Exactly. You pay your entry fee, you walk the prescribed path, you take the photo. But Rijeka has scars. It has what the sources call structural integrity. Historically, it's known as the Red City.
The Red City. Now, does that just mean they vote left, or is there something deeper there? Is that a political thing?
It's much deeper. It goes way back. You have to look at the history of Fiumoma, which is the Italian name for the city. It's had this very complicated identity for centuries.
Fiume.
In the 1920s, before it was part of Yugoslavia or Croatia, it was briefly an independent free state. It was this playground for anarchists, futurists, and artists, led by this poet-soldier Gabriele D'Annunzio. It has this history of being a bit punk rock, a bit rebellious.
So it's not just red as in communist, it's red as in fiery, as in revolutionary.
Precisely. It's historically working class. It's a port city. The people who live there have always been distinct from the rest of the country, a little bit of an outlier. They are proud of being a bit gritty. Even today, the political energy is different. It feels lived in.
That's the key phrase, isn't it? Lived in. When you look at Rijeka on social media, if you can even find it amidst the sea of Dubrovnik posts, you get these wildly mixed signals.
It's a total dichotomy. You're absolutely right. On one hand, you have the Corso. That's the main promenade.
Yeah.
If you just look at a photo of the Corso, you'd think you were in Vienna or Budapest, but with palm trees. You have these grand yellow and cream Austro-Hungarian buildings, elaborate facades, polite cafe culture. It looks imperial. It looks expensive.
But then you swipe left.
And you see an abandoned torpedo factory. You see graffiti. You see rusted iron. It looks like a post-apocalyptic video game level.
And the crazy thing is, both of those things are existing within a 5-minute walk of each other. They're not in different parts of town.
They are neighbors, and that is the expectation you need to have. This is a port city first. It smells like diesel and salt. It sounds like ship horns and seagulls, not just gentle waves. It's not a museum piece where everything is manicured for the visitor. In Rijeka, you are outnumbered by locals.
And that's a huge deal. That brings up this concept of the living city versus the theme park. I think for a budget traveler, this isn't just an aesthetic preference. It actually impacts the wallet.
Oh, it impacts the wallet directly. Hugely. Because it is a working city, the infrastructure is built for residents. Think about who lives there. Dock workers, students at the university, nurses, teachers.
People earning local Croatian salaries.
People earning local Croatian salaries, which, even in 2026, are not matching the prices in Dubrovnik. Not even close.
No way.
So the supermarkets have to be priced for them. The bus system has to be efficient and cheap because people need to get to work, not just to a beach. When you visit a theme park city like Split in July, the infrastructure is pivoted entirely to extract money from tourists. The prices are tourist prices. In Rijeka, there is only one price, the local price.
There's also this note in the research about the lack of hawker culture. I found this really interesting because nothing ruins a vacation faster for me than being hassled every 10 feet.
It is a massive difference in quality of life. It's almost jarring at first. In the south, you walk down the promenade and it's a gauntlet. Boat tour, bleak cave, lavender, come in my restaurant. You are a target. You are a walking wallet.
You feel like prey.
You do. In Rijeka, you are invisible.
Invisible. That sounds kind of lonely, but also amazing.
It's liberating. No one cares that you are there. They're busy getting to work or meeting their friends for coffee. You get to be a voyeur. You get to observe the city rather than being consumed by it.
Yeah.
For a traveler who actually wants to see a culture, that invisibility is a luxury.
Let's talk about that arrival experience, because I think it sets the tone. If you're coming in by bus, maybe from Trieste in Italy or down from Munich, what do you see? What's the first thing that hits you?
You don't see cute little fishing boats bobbing in a turquoise harbor. You see the industry. The source material uses this great phrase, metallic giraffes.
The cranes.
The cranes. They are massive. They are everywhere. And they are kind of the mascot of the city. You see the container terminal. It's industrial grit. But then as you get closer, you start to see the industrial chic. It's a unique architectural mix.
What do you mean by that?
You have those Habsburg-era buildings, heavy, ornate, very 19th century luxury. but they're coated in a layer of industrial dust. There's a fine layer of soot on everything.
It's like a countess who's been working in a coal mine.
That is a perfect analogy. And she's wearing tattoos. The graffiti in Rijeka is everywhere. And we aren't just talking about gang tags or scribbles, though there is plenty of that. We were talking about murals, political slogans, football club loyalty. It feels alive. It feels like the walls are talking.
I want to zoom in on one specific location mentioned in the notes, the Philodramatica. It seems to capture this cosmopolitan, slightly faded glory perfectly. Tell me about this place.
The Philodramatica is an institution. It's right on the Corso. You walk in and you're surrounded by velvet chairs, crystal chandeliers, high ceilings. It feels very Viennese, very old world.
Okay, so it's grand.
It is, but the soundscape is what matters. You aren't just hearing English and American accents complaining about the heat. You're hearing a mix: Italian, German, Croatian, a real blend.
Why so much Italian? Is that just from tourists?
No, not at all. Historically, many older locals still speak a dialect explicitly linked to Venice. Plus, Trieste's an hour away. It feels international in a way that isn't just touristic. It's a place where you sit, order a macchiato, and just listen. You feel like you're at a crossroads of Europe, not a resort.
But we have to be real about the grit. It's not all romance and velvet chairs. The source mentions walking past the train station at night.
Yeah, and it's important to manage expectations. Rijeka is safe. We'll get to the safety stats later, but physically, it can look rough. The area around the bus and train stations is dark. The buildings there haven't been power washed in 50 years.
This is not dangerous, just grimy.
Exactly. If you are used to the polished limestone of Hvar, where everything gleams under the streetlights, Rijeka can feel dirty.
It's patina.
Yeah.
Or just dirt.
It's a bit of both. It's structural integrity with a layer of grime. It demands that you look past the surface. If you can't do that, you're going to hate it. It's a city that challenges you a little.
Okay, let's get to the part everyone is waiting for, the numbers. We called this episode The Budget King in 2026, so we need to prove it. I want to look at the economics of 2026, specifically how the inflation from the euro transition has settled in.
The contrast is stark. Let's look at the biggest line item for any traveler: accommodation.
Where are we sleeping and how much does it hurt? Let's break it down by traveler type.
Okay, let's start with the backpacker, the hostel crowd. In Dubrovnik, in the high season of 2026, a bed in a 12-person dorm, not a private room, a dorm is hitting 60 euros a night.
That is insane. For that price, I'd expect someone to façon me with a palm frond while I sleep. 60 euros.
You get a locker and a reading light, if you're lucky. Now, look at Rijeka. You can still find solid, clean, modern hostel beds for 25 to 35 euros.
That is essentially half price, or less.
Half price. Think about that math. For the price of 1 week in Dubrovnik, you can stay 2 weeks in Rijeka. That changes the fundamental nature of your trip. It goes from a quick, expensive hit to a longer, more immersive stay.
What about for people who have aged out of the hostel scene? Mid-range travelers? Maybe a couple or solo traveler who wants their own bathroom.
Right. So if you want a decent hotel room or a private apartment, something standard, clean, central, and split, you are looking at 200 euro a night easily. And that's not even for something fancy.
200 euros. Wow.
In Rijeka, looking at places like the Hotel Bonavia or similar 3 to 4 star standards, you were looking at 80 to 110 euro.
Again, massive savings. That's 100 euros a day you're saving, just on the room.
100 euros a day you can spend on food, on experiences, on day trips. It completely changes the calculus.
But what if I want to ball out? What if I'm a luxury traveler who just happens to like port cities? Is there even an option for that?
This is where it gets surprising. There's a place called the Hilton Postabella. It was built a few years back, located a bit outside the center towards Opatija. It is world-class. Spa, pools, private beach.
Okay, so a proper resort. What's that going to cost me?
You're paying 250 to 350 euros a night there.
That sounds expensive.
It is expensive until you compare it. An equivalent 5-star resort experience in Dubrovnik, something with a private beach and a spa, is going to cost you 800 euro plus per night.
800. So it's, what, a third of the price for the same level of luxury?
Pretty much. So even the luxury is a bargain, relatively speaking. The value proposition scores a 10-10 across every budget category. You simply get more square footage and better service for your euro because the demand isn't strangling the supply.
Now, food.
Yeah.
You have to eat. And in 2026, food prices have gone up everywhere in Europe.
They have, but Rijeka has a secret weapon. the merinda.
Explain merinda for us. Is that a dish? I've never heard of that.
No, it's a concept. It's a tradition. It's essentially the workers' brunch or early lunch. It usually happens between 10:00 a.m. and 1:00 p.m.
Yeah.
In the coastal cities, this used to be everywhere. But in the tourist hubs, it's largely disappeared or been replaced by brunch with avocado toast for 18.
Look, not the avocado toast.
Yeah.
But in Rijeka.
Because it's a working city, the merinda is alive and well. You walk into a Canova, a tavern, and ask what the merinda is. You can get a massive plate of fried calamari and chard, or a bean stew with sausage gras, or a beef goulash with gnocchi for 10 to 12 euro.
That is incredible value for a sit-down hot meal, a real meal.
It's home cooking, it's not fancy plating, but it fills you up for the day. And then, for the snackers, for the really budget-conscious, you have the Burek Index.
The holy grail of Balkan pastry. I feel like we judge every city by the price of its burek. It's the law.
We have to. It's the most important economic indicator. In 2026, a burek meat or cheese is costing about £2.50 to 3.0 on Rijeka bakeries. A slice and pizza at the 24-hour places is £3.
So you can eat for, what, under 10 euros a day if you really tried?
You can legitimately feed yourself on 15 euros a day here if you stick to bakeries and supermarkets, comfortably.
But even if you want to be fancy, right? The source mentions a place called Konoba Nebulosa. What's the deal there?
Right. This is for your date night, your one splurge of the trip. White tablecloths, view of the river, excellent service. We're talking appetizers, truffle pasta, which this region is famous for, fresh fish, a bottle of wine.
So the whole experience.
The whole thing. The bill there comes to about 45 euros per person.
That's not cheap, but for a splurge, that's pretty good.
Compare it. That same meal truffles, fresh fish, wine, and H for a town.
Yeah.
You are looking at 90 to 100 euros per person, minimum. You are paying a view tax, Inchvar, that simply doesn't exist in Rijeka.
And coffee. I feel like coffee is the true index of the Croatian economy.
Yeah.
It's the lifeblood.
It really is. Espresso on the Corso, the main drag, where you are paying for the location, is 1.80 euro. If you get it with milk, a macchiato, it's 2.20. In the tourist center, seeing a 1.80 a coffee is like seeing a unicorn. You take a picture of the menu.
So let's break down the daily budget. Give me the hard numbers. If I'm a scraping by, traveler hostel, walking everywhere, eating burek, what's my daily burn rate?
You can do Rijeka for 45 euros a day. That covers your bed and your calories.
That is wild. You can't even sleep in Dubrovnik for 45.
No, the bed alone costs more than your whole day in Rijeka. Now, if you're a comfortable traveler sharing a private apartment with a partner, having one nice sit-down merinda, going to a museum, taking the bus, you're looking at 90 euros a day.
90 euros for a comfortable day in Europe in 2026. That's fantastic.
It really is. And the baller budget.
Okay, lay it on me.
High-end hotel, taxis everywhere, seafood dinners, cocktails, $250 a day, which, in the context of Western Europe in 2026, is a steal for a luxury experience.
Okay, the math works. The economics are undeniable. But there are traps. It's not all smooth sailing and cheap truffles. We need to do a reality check.
Yeah.
Because this all sounds too good to be true.
This is where the deep dive adds value. You can't just look at the price tag. You have to look at the physics of the city.
Let's talk about the vertical reality. Because looking at a map, Rijeka looks narrow but manageable.
It is the Google Maps solution. It's a classic problem in coastal cities, but Rijeka takes it to an extreme. The city is literally clamped onto the side of a canyon and a mountain range. It goes up, and it goes up fast.
So you look at the map, and your Airbnb looks like it's 2 blocks from the main square. A 5-minute walk, you think?
Right. It's 2 blocks away horizontally, but Google Maps doesn't always clearly show you that those 2 blocks involve 400 vertical steps up a canyon wall.
I can feel my calves burning just thinking about it. That's vacation ruiner right there if you're not prepared.
It really is. There's a famous anecdote about the Trasat Stairway. It's a pilgrimage site, technically. It leads from the river delta up to the Trasat Castle.
How many steps are we talking about?
561.
No, imagine doing that in July. It's 30 degrees Celsius, 80% humidity. The source mentions a traveler who tried to walk it just to see the view. By the time they got to the top, they were drenched in sweat, miserable, dehydrated, and too tired to even enjoy the castle.
They just laid on the ground and gasped for air, probably. Pretty much. So what's the fix? How do we hack the verticality?
Please tell me there's a hack.
You have to respect gravity. Use the system. You take the number 2 bus up to Trasat. It costs a couple of euros. You enjoy the view, have a coffee at the top where the breeze is. Then you walk down the stairs back to the city center.
Gravity is your friend, not your enemy. That's the key.
Exactly. If you try to fight the terrain in Rijeka, you will lose. Every single time.
Now let's talk about the weather again. You dropped that bomb earlier about it being wetter than London. Why? Is there a cloud factory nearby? What is going on?
Actually, yes, in a way. It's called Mount Rijeka. It's this massive mountain range just to the west. It creates what meteorologists call an orographic lift.
Okay, break that down.
The moist air comes in off the Adriatic Sea, hits the mountain, gets pushed up, cools down, and dumps all its rain right on top of Rijeka. It's a perfect rain-making machine.
So you could have a sunny day in Pula, which is on the other side of the mountain.
And it is pouring rain in Rijeka. Literally 50 kilometers away. It happens all the time. You can drive out of the rain in 20 minutes.
And it's not just gentle rain, right? We need to talk about the Bura.
The Bura. It's a legend. It's a northeasterly wind that comes crashing down the mountains. It is cold, it is dry, and it is incredibly strong. We are talking gusts that can flip trucks on the highway.
Whoa. So your cheap drugstore umbrella
Is garbage.
Yeah.
It will be turned inside out in 3 seconds. You see them stuffed into trash cans all over the city after a storm. It's a graveyard of bad umbrellas. A complete waste of money.
So, gear advice. If I'm packing for a summer trip, do I really need a raincoat? It seems so counterintuitive.
Yes, you need a sturdy windbreaker or shell. But more importantly, you need waterproof shoes. Not water-resistant, waterproof.
Why shoes specifically? Is it just the rain?
Because the drainage in the Old Town can be historic. The puddles get deep, and the limestone pavement. When it gets wet, it becomes an ice rink. If you are wearing flimsy mesh sneakers or flip-flops, your feet are going to be soaked and cold, or you're going to slip.
Waterproof shoes in July. That is a counterintuitive tip, but a game changer.
It's the difference between a miserable day and an adventure. It really is.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest misconception. The beach. This breaks hearts, doesn't it?
It destroys vacations. People book a hotel in Rijeka Center, they pack their inflatable flamingo, and they think, great, I'll just walk out and jump in the sea.
But you can't.
You absolutely cannot swim in the city center. It is a commercial port. The water is full of ferries, fishing trawlers, and sometimes huge tankers. It's deep, it's industrial, and it's not safe.
So you have to commute to the beach. You have to plan it.
You do. You have to treat the beach like a destination, not an amenity. You need to go west to the Contrita or Costa Bella neighborhoods or east to Pisanen. You need to take the number 1 or number 2 bus. It's a 15 to 20-minute ride.
That changes the vibe of a holiday, doesn't it? If you have to catch a bus with your towel. It feels less spontaneous.
It does. It makes it an urban trip with beach access rather than a beach trip. And there's an anecdote about Sabloshevo Beach. Have you seen pictures of this place?
I have. It looks stunning. It's this little pebble cove with a cliff behind it. Looks like a postcard.
It is stunning. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in Croatia. But because it's the only really photogenic beach close to the center, it is a victim of its own success.
How bad is it? Overcrowded.
The source describes it as a seal colony. In July and August, it is towel to towel. You cannot see the pebbles. You are intimately acquainted with your neighbor's sunscreen habits.
So if you want space, you have to go further out.
Exactly. You have to be willing to travel for your swim. If you hate buses, this might be a deal breaker.
Now another logistical trap that catches people out. The Sunday shutdown.
This is a national law that came into effect a few years ago, but it is strictly enforced in Rijeka. Croatia passed laws limiting Sunday work to protect workers' time.
Which is great for workers.
Fantastic for workers, terrible for the unprepared tourist. In 2026, the malls are closed on Sundays. The supermarkets are mostly closed. Maybe you'll find one designated store open in the whole city, but don't count on it. Bakeries close at noon.
So imagine the scenario. You arrive on a Saturday night, you're tired from your flight, you go straight to sleep.
You wake up Sunday morning hungry, you think, I'll just pop to the store and get some eggs and coffee. Nope. Closed, I'll go to the bakery. If it's past 12, closed.
So you're starving. Or at least very hangry.
You are forced to eat at restaurants, which are allowed to be open, but your budget plan of cooking cheap breakfast is out the window. Your whole day's budget is blown before 10 a.m.
That is a critical tip. Shop on Saturday or starve on Sunday.
It requires planning. You have to think like a resident, not a tourist. That's the theme here.
And the final trap, the airport lie.
Ah, yes. Rijeka Airport. Code. RJK. It sounds so convenient. Fly to Rijeka.
But it's not in Rijeka.
It is not. It is on the island of Kirk.
That's a whole other landmass.
It is. It's connected by a bridge, but it's a 30-minute drive, minimum, without traffic. And the shuttle bus situation is, let's call it, optimistic.
Optimistic. What does that mean? Unreliable.
They try to sync the buses with the flight arrivals. But if your flight is delayed, which happens all the time with budget airlines, the bus might not wait.
And then what? You're stranded.
Then you are stuck on an island. Your only option is a taxi, which will cost you 50 or 60 euro. There goes your budget savings for the first 2 days just getting to your hostel.
So what's the strategy? Avoid the airport.
Honestly, yes. Often it's better to fly into Trieste in Italy, or even Zagreb. From Zagreb, the bus to Rijeka is only 2 hours, it runs every hour, and it drops you right in the center. It's reliable. Flying into Rijeka can actually be more hassle than it's worth.
Okay, we've covered the grit, the rain, the stairs, and the fake airport. I feel like we've done a good job of scaring people off, but there has to be a reason to go, right. Let's talk about the soul of the city, the highlights. Why do people fall in love with this place?
This is where Rijeka shines for the right kind of traveler. The traveler who finds beauty in decay. The traveler who likes industrial Gothic.
You mentioned the Hartera. Tell me more about that.
The Hartera. It's the old paper factory. This place is legendary. In the 19th century, this factory supplied cigarette paper to half the world. It was a powerhouse, a huge employer.
And now?
Now it's a ruin. It's located in the canyon of the Regetina River, just up from the center. It's this massive complex of brick chimneys, shattered windows, and concrete halls.
Is it a museum? Can you buy a ticket?
No, that's the magic of it. It's just there. It's gray area legal to enter. People walk their dogs there. Graffiti artists practice there. Sometimes they hold underground raves there.
Wow.
But the description is haunting. You have the rushing river noise, the smell of damp earth, and nature slowly reclaiming these industrial giants. Trees growing out of factory floors. It's beautiful and eerie.
It sounds like a set from The Last of Us.
It absolutely does. It captures the soul of the city perfectly. Production, decay, and nature taking it back. If you were into photography or just urban exploration, it's a paradise. You can feel the ghosts of the workers.
And on the other end of the sensory spectrum, there's the Cathedral of Fish.
The Rabarnica, the central fish market. Now, usually, fish markets are just functional metal sheds, not in Rijeka.
It's Art Nouveau, isn't it?
It's a masterpiece. It was built in 1916. It looks like a temple, high ceilings, glass, intricate stonework. But you have to look closely at the columns.
What am I looking for?
The capitals of the columns aren't flowers or leaves. They are carved stone crabs, octopuses, and fish. The details are incredible.
That is amazing detail. A temple dedicated to seafood.
And the experience inside is visceral. You have to go at 7 a.m. The noise is deafening, fishmongers shouting, selling their catch. It smells like the deep ocean. You can buy cheap mussels, dongye, fresh sardines.
Cervella. And the key thing noted in the research, no souvenir magnets.
Zero. This is not for you, the tourist. This is for the grandmothers buying lunch. It's total authenticity. It's a place where locals live, not where tourists buy trinkets. If you want to see the beating heart of the city, stand in the fish market for 10 minutes.
Now, let's say someone is listening to this and thinking, okay, Rijeka sounds a bit too gritty for me, but I like the price point. Or maybe they just want to break from the rust. What are the alternatives nearby?
You have excellent regional alternatives. Think of Rijeka as the hub of a wheel. The spokes lead to very different worlds. If you want the Kvarner vibe, but you want it polished and fancy, you go to Opatija.
Opatija is the Old Dame.
The Old Dame. It's just 20 minutes away by the number 32 bus. It's a completely different universe. It's full of Habsburg villas, manicured gardens, hotels with chandeliers. It has a French Riviera vibe.
That sounds beautiful.
It is stunning. But here's the catch. It costs double. A coffee there is 4, a meal is 80 euro. It's where the aristocracy used to winter. It's clean, it's flat, and it's luxurious.
But you can visit without staying there.
Exactly. That's the strategy. Then, if you are a pure beach lover, if that's your number one priority, you look at Kirk.
The island with the airport.
The island, you can see it from Rijeka. Just rent a car or take a bus over the bridge. Go to Bashaka. It has a 2-kilometer-long pebble beach that is arguably one of the best in all of Croatia. The water is crystal clear.
And for the history buffs, if they want Roman ruins.
Pula. It's about an hour away. It has the Roman amphitheater, one of best preserved in the world. But keep in mind, Pula is a seasonal town. In the winter, Pula can feel like a ghost town. Rijeka, because it's a city of residents and students, stays open and alive all year round.
So we have a proposed itinerary here called the Kvarner contrast.
Yeah.
I love this idea because it feels like you're cheating the system.
This is how you hack the region. This is the expert move. You base yourself in Rijeka. Why? To save money on sleep. You take advantage of those 30 hostel beds or 80 apartments.
So Monday through Wednesday, you are urban. You're exploring the city.
You explore the grit, the museums, the Hartera, the nightlife. You eat cheap burek. You live like a local. Day 4, you take the bus to Opatija. You have a fancy day, you dress up, you walk the Lungomare Promenade, you eat an expensive slice of cake at the Hotel Farner, you pretend you're an Austro-Hungarian aristocrat.
And then you go back to your cheap bed in Rijeka.
Exactly. You get the luxury experience without the luxury hotel bill. It's the best of both worlds.
And day 5, you need a nature day.
You go to the port in Rijeka, right in the center, and you get on a catamaran. You go to the islands, Mali, Lushin, or Rab. You get your pure nature fix. You swim in turquoise water. Then you take the boat back.
It's the perfect mix. You get the grit, the glitz, and the nature.
And you do it for half the price of a week in Dubrovnik. It's a no-brainer if you're smart about it.
Let's talk about safety and comfort a bit more. We mentioned the dark streets, but what about the actual stats? Is it safe to be a budget traveler with a backpack here?
Statistically, Croatia is one of the safest countries in Europe, and Rijeka follows that trend. Violent crime against tourists is virtually non-existent. You are not going to get mugged.
That is always reassuring.
As a solo female traveler, for example, walking alone at 2 a.m. in Rijeka generally feels safer than walking at 2 p.m. in some major European capitals like Paris or Barcelona.
But there are vibes to be aware of. It's not all pristine.
Yes. The bus station area Šabica and around the train station can attract some drunks and rough sleepers. It's typical for transport hubs. It's not necessarily dangerous, but it can be uncomfortable. It's gritty. You might get asked for cigarettes or change.
What about scams? Are there tourist scams to watch out for?
Very few. The taxi drivers are generally honest, especially if you use the apps like Uber or Bolt. You don't get the menu scam where prices aren't listed because, again, locals eat here. If a restaurant rips off a local, they go out of business. Word spreads fast.
We talked about the rain, but what about air quality? It is a port city. There is a refinery. That's a real concern for some people.
That is a valid concern. It is an industrial zone. Depending on the wind direction, you can sometimes smell the refinery or the ship fumes. If you are super sensitive to asthma triggers or if you have respiratory issues, you should check the Air Quality Index, AQI, before booking a place right on the waterfront. Maybe stay a bit further up the hill.
And the tap water. Is it safe to drink?
Drinkable. Excellent, actually. It comes straight from the mountains behind the city. It's cold and clean. Do not buy bottled water. It's a waste of money and plastic.
Okay, we have arrived at the verdict matrix. We are going to break this down by traveler type. Who is Rijeka for and who should avoid it, like the plague?
Let's start with the backpacker.
Verdict.
Yes. A hard yes. It is the best base in Croatia. Cheap transport, authentic nightlife. You can party with university students and locals in dive bars, not just other tourists on a pub crawl. It's real.
The digital nomad.
Yes. Another strong yes. The internet is fast. 5G is everywhere. The cafe culture allows you to sit for hours with a laptop and one coffee and no one kicks you out. The cost of living allows you to save money. It's a very functional city for working.
The luxury traveler.
Surprisingly, yes. But with the caveat, you don't stay in the city center. You stay at the Hilton Costabella or a high-end villa in the Velasco neighborhood. You engage with the quiet luxury scene, the high-end dining like Nebo, which has a Michelin star. It's the opposite of Dubrovnik's loud luxury. It's discreet.
The couple?
Maybe. This is the tricky one. It depends on what kind of couple you are. If you are culture first, if you like museums, galleries, and history, it's a yes.
Yeah.
If you are sunset and wine romantics who want a perfect backdrop for your engagement photos, you might find the view of the container ship terminal unsexy.
Right. It's not the classic romantic getaway.
Not in the traditional sense, no.
And finally, the family.
No. This is the hard no.
Why so definitive?
It's not stroller-friendly because of the stairs. You will be carrying that stroller up 400 steps. The beach access is difficult, with toddlers getting on and off buses with beach gear and screaming kids is a nightmare. The air quality can be a concern. If you have a family, go to Kirk or Rab. Don't fight the city. It's not built for that.
That is a very clear breakdown. So if we synthesize all of this, what is the final word on Rijeka in 2026?
Rijeka's superpower is that it respects the traveler by not trying to sell them anything. It doesn't care if you like it.
It's indifferent to us.
It is. And in a world of over-tourism, indifference is a relief. You trade the Game of Thrones polish for solvency and authenticity.
It's for the modern traveler who wants to see what a country actually looks like.
Yeah.
Warts, graffiti, rain, Burrick, and all.
Exactly. It forces you to ask yourself a question, really. Are you a tourist who wants the postcard? Or are you a traveler who wants the reality?
And if you want the reality, you better pack waterproof shoes.
And bring an appetite for Burrick.
Awesome. That is our deep dive on Rijeka. We hope this saves you some euros and helps you plan a better, more authentic trip in 2026.
Safe travels, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next deep dive.